Welcome back to the Business Ignite podcast, where we light the fire for business growth and marketing success. Your hosts, Ethan Walker and Samantha Reed, bring you the latest trends, expert insights, and actionable strategies to fuel your business journey. Let's ignite your potential.
Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're diving into the world of small businesses.
Okay.
You know those local heroes that keep our neighborhoods running? We've got a stack of fascinating articles.
Right.
And some surprising stats that might just change how you think about those mom and pop shops around the corner.
You know, when we talk about small businesses, it's easy to get caught up in the feel-good stories.
Yeah.
But really understanding their world goes way beyond that. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just curious about how the economy actually works, this deep dive is packed with insights for everyone.
You're absolutely right. And speaking of insights, you shared an article with us called Little Known Facts About Small Businesses. Honestly, I was hooked from the first paragraph.
Oh.
For example, did you know that Small Business Week happens every year in May?
I have to admit that one slipped past me.
And get this, it strategically coincides with the weekend nestled right between Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
Now that's some savvy scheduling.
Right.
Talk about striking while the iron's hot after Thanksgiving. It speaks to the strategic mindset that many small business owners bring to the table, even if it's not always obvious from the outside.
It's true. We often think of big corporations as the masters of strategy.
Yeah.
But small businesses have to be agile and inventive to compete. They're playing chess while the big guys are playing checkers. And that brings us to one of the biggest myths out there, the one about 9 out of 10 businesses failing.
Right.
The truth is far more nuanced.
Absolutely. That old saying doesn't tell the whole story. The article highlighted that a significant number of small businesses actually thrive for well over a decade.
Wow.
They might not all become household names, but they're the backbone of our communities. And when you look at what they overcome to stay afloat, it's pretty remarkable, especially after something like a natural disaster.
That's a great point. I never really thought about it that way.
The article mentioned that if a small business can't get back on its feet within 10 days after a disaster, its chances of survival take a nosedive. That's a ticking clock.
Talk about pressure.
Yeah.
It really highlights the vulnerability these businesses face.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, it also shows their incredible resilience.
Absolutely. That grit is practically a prerequisite for entrepreneurship. And speaking of resilience, let's talk about job creation.
Okay.
This is where small businesses really shine.
You're right. The article mentioned something incredible about that. Didn't it say that small businesses have actually created more jobs than big corporations?
They have. Since the 1990s, small businesses have been the driving force behind net job growth. Think about that for a second.
Yeah.
They're competing with giants, yet they're the ones fueling a significant chunk of the economy.
It's pretty amazing when you put it like that. You'd think with all the resources big companies have, they'd be the job-creating powerhouses. This really highlights the entrepreneurial spirit and the impact of small businesses on our communities. So we've talked about their resilience and their role as job creators, but what about marketing? That's a whole different ball game, right?
It certainly is, and the article has some pretty eye-opening stats about how small businesses navigate the marketing landscape. Anything in particular stand out to you?
Oh, absolutely. The whole social media thing was a real eye-opener. It makes sense that almost every small business uses it. It's like the ultimate word-of-mouth tool, affordable and far-reaching. But here's the kicker. The article said very few actually invest in real strategies or have dedicated staff for social media. That just seems wild to me in this day and age.
It's a common pitfall. There's this misconception that just being present on social media is enough, but without a clear strategy, without targeted content, without engaging with your audience, it's like whispering into a hurricane.
Right. It's like they're at the biggest party on the planet, but they forgot to bring anything interesting to talk about.
Exactly. And it's a missed opportunity when you consider that over 70% of people research a business online before they ever even think about setting foot in a store.
Seriously, 70%. That's huge.
Yeah.
So their online presence is often their first impression. And for many small businesses, social media is that digital storefront.
Precisely, which makes the next stat even more baffling. You ready for this?
Hit me with it.
Over half of small businesses don't even have a website. In 2024, it's almost unthinkable.
Okay, that's mind-blowing. It's like they're missing out on a whole dimension of connection with potential customers. How can that even be possible?
The article pointed to cost as a major barrier. Building a website, keeping it updated, making sure it's secure, It can feel overwhelming, especially for small business owners who are already wearing a dozen different hats. But there's also a knowledge gap. Many small business owners might not fully grasp the importance of having a website, or they might not know where to even begin.
Right, I get that. It can feel like a whole other language sometimes. And it's not just about having a website, right? It's about making sure people can actually find it. Which brings us to the wonderful world of SEO.
Ah, yes, SEO, the silent partner in the online world. The article mentioned that while many small business owners understand its importance, very few actually invest in it.
Less than 20%, if I remember correctly. Which is wild when you think about how much we rely on search engines to find, well, everything these days.
Precisely. It's like having a beautiful shop on a bustling street, but forgetting to put up a sign. No one's going to know you're there, no matter how fantastic your products or services are.
Yeah, it's a real wake-up call. We get so used to the ease of a Google search, but there's a whole strategy behind the scenes that we often take for granted.
Yeah.
It makes you realize how much effort goes into standing out in the digital world.
It does, and it highlights the resourcefulness of small business owners. They're not just selling products or services, they're marketers, accountants, customer service reps, and so much more, often all rolled into one.
It's true. They're juggling a million things, often with limited budgets and staff. It makes you appreciate the passion and dedication behind every small business you walk into.
Absolutely. There's a level of commitment and creativity that's often overlooked. These are the people who are taking risks, innovating on a dime, and shaping the character of our communities.
And the heart and soul of the economy, that's for sure. So we've uncovered a lot in this deep dive. We've debunked myths, unearthed surprising stats, and gained a new appreciation for the challenges and triumphs of small businesses. What's the biggest takeaway for you?
For me, it's the sheer resilience of small businesses. Despite the odds, the competition, the ever-changing landscape, they persevere. They're the ones creating jobs, fostering innovation, and adding vibrancy to our neighborhoods. They deserve our support not just during Small Business Week, but every single day.
I couldn't agree more. And you know what it makes you think? What if every time we needed something, we made a conscious effort to seek out a local small business first? Imagine the ripple effect that could have. So next time you're about to click on that big online retailer or head to that familiar chain store, take a moment to consider the little guys. You might just be surprised by what you find. Until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.
Thanks for tuning in to the Business Ignite podcast, where we fuel your business growth and marketing success. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to rate and review us. It does help others find the show. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Business Ignite Podcast and share this episode with a friend. Keep the fire burning, and remember, your success is just one strategy away. Until next time, stay ignited.